Hi there and welcome to ESG Explained, where we try to deconstruct and demystify ESG for everyone. So let's talk about greenwashing. Ryanair, Hyundai, HSBC, German asset manager DWS. What do these companies have in common? Well, they've all made public claims on the green or sustainable credentials of their product or company, and these messages and claims were found to be either misleading or providing a false impression. Airline Ryanair claimed that it had the lowest carbon emissions of any major airline in Europe. UK advertising authorities found that Ryanair's analysis backing up its claims were false and banned the advert. Hyundai was censored after proclaiming that a newly released hydrogen-powered model of its cars was so beautifully clean that it purifies the air as it goes. HSBC ran an advertising campaign on the $1 trillion it had invested in climate-friendly activities. Although this claim was true, authorities pointed out that it wasn't a totally fair picture and admitted the fact that HSBC is a significant financer of businesses and industries contributing heavily to carbon and greenhouse gas emissions. DWS, the investment management arm of Deutsche Bank, misled investors on the extent that it used ESG considerations in its investment process and on its ESG investing capabilities. German authorities ended up raiding their Frankfurt offices, and the CEO resigned in the wake of the scandal. Now, with so many environmentally or socially responsible claims clamoring to attract the attention of potential customers, the risk is that some of these claims are either misleading, confusing, or not totally reflective of the full truth, whether intentional or not. So greenwashing is made up of two words. Let's look at each of them. Washing involves painting a product or company in a favourable light, and let's be clear, is nothing new. Companies have always relied on a degree of hyperbole and exaggeration in their advertising and marketing to attract customers or to enhance their reputation. What is new is the green element. Consumer preferences have shifted, and they're more willing to pay more for green or sustainable products. While greenwashing often refers to environmental claims, more and more claims are extending to socially responsible credentials as ESG more broadly increases in prominence. According to a 2020 McKinsey US Consumer Sentiment Survey, over 60% of consumers said they'd pay more for a product with sustainable packaging. A study performed by Nielsen IQ shows that between 2018 and 2022, annualized sales growth rates for products with ESG-related claims were higher at 6.4% than for products without ESG-related claims at 4.7%. In investments, products and funds that consider ESG have grown hugely in recent years, and Bloomberg Analysis predicts that ESG assets may reach $53 trillion by 2025, or about a third of forecasted global assets under management at that time. And more companies are making ESG related targets, which, remember, are also ESG claims, potentially subject to greenwashing if misleading or unrealistic. Now, acts of greenwashing can be very broad, so it's useful to deconstruct greenwashing into the following components. First, greenwashing involves the delivery of a message. Now, this can be done through product names, descriptions, marketing materials, advertisements, prospectuses for financial products, company disclosures and reports, verbal and written statements, and press releases. In fact, it relates to any form of communication, verbal or written, which relate to environmental or sustainable attributes or a lack of adverse impact. Second, that message has certain undesired effects. Developing regulations on greenwashing agree it either creates a false or misleading impression or includes the usage of unclear or not well substantiated claims. And the EU Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation focuses on the creation of an unfair competitive advantage. And third, that undesired effect is relevant to certain audiences. These can include consumers and the general public, competitors, and regulators. So what are the consequences of greenwashing? Well, in the most serious of cases, severe fines have been imposed by regulators. In the DWS case, the company is provisioning for around €20 million in fines. Goldman Sachs paid $4 million to settle charges by the US SEC relating to policy and procedure failures in the ESG research it used in ESG marketed funds. Now, harder to quantify is the reputational damage that almost certainly results from proven cases of greenwashing. And we've seen one consequence, which is known as green hushing. The fear of being accused of greenwashing is causing some companies to roll back on their green claims, or classifying their products as less environmentally or socially impactful as they might actually be. Regulations specific to greenwashing are in development. While many prior cases of proven greenwashing have come under existing advertising or financial regulations, specific regulations aimed at greenwashing are coming in. In March 2023, the EU proposed its Green Claims Directive, which will require companies to support green claims with scientific evidence and have claims independently verified before communicating them. And in the US, the Federal Trade Commission is taking aim at greenwashing by strengthening its oversight of deceptive marketing around sustainability and environmental responsibility where this violates US federal law. Taxonomies have been in development across the world, including the EU and across Asia, aiming to provide regulatory definitions of green or sustainable activities and the investments into these activities. And this will form part of the overall regulatory framework that helps with greenwashing. And finally, there is a point around education and increasing the awareness of consumers so that they can better understand green claims and what terms such as carbon neutral or net zero actually mean. I hope this video has provided a good basic deconstruction and demystification of the term greenwashing, and in future videos we'll be taking a deeper look into other ESG topics. If you'd like to see those, please like and subscribe to ESG Explained, and include a comment below if there's anything on specific ESG topics you'd like us to cover as we look to deconstruct and demystify ESG for everyone.